Hello and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring something really important for the Good Morning Seniors YouTube channel audience.
That's right.
Today's topic is 8 stupid things that make you lonely in old age. And there's this common idea, isn't there, that feeling isolated is just part of getting older.
Almost inevitable, yeah, like it's just bound to happen.
Exactly. But the research we've been looking at really pushes back on that. It suggests that often serious isolation isn't some unavoidable fate.
No, not at all. It's more like the result of certain choices, sometimes small ones.
Small things, maybe even habits we don't notice, that kind of cut us off.
That's a really crucial distinction to make right up front. Our goal here isn't just to give vague advice like, stay busy.
Right, we hear that all the time.
We're digging into 8 very specific behavioral traps. These are concrete actions or sometimes the lack of action that people fall into, things that unintentionally end up severing social ties.
So we're looking at the actual mechanics of how people can accidentally isolate themselves?
Precisely. And the most powerful thing we found, looking at real stories, is that simply being aware of these 8 traps. That awareness itself is a huge part of the solution. It's the antidote.
Absolutely. And we've gathered these real-life examples and also some really practical, actionable steps, things you listening can actually do.
Yeah, small shifts.
To help make sure life stays vibrant, connected, not just getting by, but actually thriving.
Yeah.
We want to help turn that empty chair, maybe sitting in the corner, into more of a front row seat for connection, for laughter, for everything that makes these years golden.
Because you deserve that vibrancy, not silence. These traps, they're often why that silence creeps in when it really doesn't have to.
Okay, so let's dive into the first trap. This one feels pretty foundational because it impacts almost everything else.
It really does.
Ignoring your physical health. The way it was described was like treating your body like an old junk drawer.
That's a good image. Just shut it and forget about it.
Yeah, you just shove things in, don't look too closely. We're talking about skipping doctor's appointments, letting your diet slide, maybe too much convenience food.
Easy meals.
And just, gradually moving less and sitting more.
Yeah.
There's often this feeling of, well, I've worked hard, I've earned my rest.
Right, that earned rest idea. But the sources frame that rest very differently. It can become this insidious kind of trap. It isolates you.
How does it isolate you, though? What's the mechanism there?
Well, what's really striking is how poor health acts as a social saboteur. That's the term used.
Total saboteur.
It's not just about aches and pains, although that's part of it, but when, say, your mobility gets limited or chronic pain makes just leaving the house feel like a huge effort.
Yeah, daunting.
Or maybe your energy levels are just constantly low, maybe because of something like high blood pressure that hasn't been managed or extra weight.
Yeah.
Suddenly saying yes to anything social.
Even something simple.
Even something simple like grabbing a coffee or a quick lunch, it feels overwhelming, impossible almost.
And when it feels impossible, well, you start saying no more often.
Exactly. You turn down one invite, then another. And the research highlights this pattern. Your physical decline effectively chains you to the couch.
Metaphorically speaking. Or literally, sometimes.
Sometimes literally. And when you consistently can't show up for friends, maybe you miss book club 3 times in a row. 2 things tend to happen.
Okay.
First, you might start to feel a bit of shame or just withdraw even more because it's difficult. And second, your social network. They see you're not coming, they might assume you're unwell, or maybe just not interested anymore.
So they stop asking.
They stop extending those invitations. It's not malicious, usually. They just adapt.
Yeah.
And your network, well, it just shrinks. It fades away because you're not physically able to participate.
We saw a really poignant example of this with Martha, a retired teacher, 68. Apparently had this infectious laugh used to fill the room.
Right. But she was deep in denial about her rising blood pressure, the extra, 30 pounds she'd gained?
Yeah. And her justification was always that phrase.
I've earned my rest after 40 years teaching kids.
But that earned rest,
Yeah.
it really backfired, didn't it?
Oh, dramatically. Within just a couple of years of adopting that mindset, she had a mild but definitely serious heart scare, ended up in the hospital.
Wow.
And that was the wake-up call. Suddenly, things she took for granted, like driving herself to Friday night bingo, which she loved.
Her main outing, maybe?
Could have been. Or hosting her book club at her place. Those were just off the table. Doctor's orders, restrictions. And her family lived far away, so getting rides wasn't easy.
So her world just contracted.
Massively. From being out in the community, the library, the center, It shrank down to just her four walls, stacks of magazines she didn't even feel like reading.
That phrase she used, feeling like a ghost in her own life, that's chilling. Still alive, still wanting connection, probably.
Absolutely.
But physically cut off by neglecting our health earlier.
And it took something big to shake her out of it. The sources mentioned a particularly lonely Christmas, eating takeout turkey by herself.
Oof, that hits hard.
That was the catalyst. She realized deep down that if she wanted that social life back, she had to get proactive about her physical health. It wasn't optional.
So what did she do?
She started small, changed how she thought about food fuel, not just comfort, began a gentle walking routine, ended up losing about 25 pounds.
That's significant.
But more importantly, socially, she's not just going to things anymore. She's actually leading water aerobics at the local Y.
No kidding. From heart scare to leading aerobics.
It's quite the turnaround. Her phone's buzzing again, texts like, hey, lunch after class. Her story is such a vivid illustration. Taking care of your health, that's your ticket to the party. Let your body become that junk drawer.
And you lock yourself out. The invites stop coming.
They really do.
Okay, so for anyone listening who might see a bit of themselves in Martha's story, what are the practical tips? How do you avoid this trap?
Well, the first one is pretty straightforward, almost logistical. Treat your annual checkup like it's non-negotiable.
Like a hot date was the phrase used.
Exactly. Schedule it. And maybe even plan something nice afterwards, like lunch out. Make it feel less like a chore, more like a ritual of self-care that has a reward built in.
Make it enjoyable, or at least less dreadful.
Right. And movement doesn't have to mean training for a 5K. Think bites, not marathons.
Bites of movement.
Yeah. Just a 10-minute walk around the block. That's achievable.
Yeah.
Breaks the inertia. Even better. Invite a neighbor along. Turn it into what did they call it? A gossip walk.
Huh. I like that. Catch up on the local news while you move.
Exactly. That shared movement plus the chat, it strengthens those neighborhood ties naturally.
And food. It's not about a total diet overhaul overnight, is it?
No, just strategic swaps. Simple things. Replace one processed snack you usually have, maybe cookies or chips, with something fresh. Apple slices and peanut butter, a handful of nuts. Small wins. It's not just about weight. It's about gaining that bit of extra energy.
And that energy makes it easier to say yes when someone calls.
Absolutely. It gives you the bandwidth for connection.
Okay, let's move to the second big roadblock. This one's more mental, maybe harder to spot in ourselves. Clinging to the past.
Ah, yes. The time capsule effect.
Nostalgia's great. We all love reminiscing. But this is when it becomes rigid, like a flat-out refusal to adapt to how things are now.
Right, like resisting new technology, maybe refusing to try that new cafe that opened up, or getting frustrated because the grandkids communicate differently now.
Texting instead of calling, maybe.
Exactly, or using video chat. You essentially lock yourself into a previous era.
So what's the big deal? If you're comfortable, why adapt?
Well, linking it back to staying connected,
Right.
that refusal to adapt, it starves your ability to build new connections. And it puts a real strain on the ones you already have.
How so?
Life keeps changing, right? Friends might move after retirement. Your kids might relocate for work. The way people communicate evolves if you're unwilling to shift even slightly.
You get left behind.
You do. You end up holding on to what the source called a solo Polaroid, a snapshot of the past, instead of actually participating in the present. Refusing to learn is like waving goodbye to everyone who's living in the 21st century.
That brings Harold to mind, the 72-year-old woodworker. Amazing craftsman, apparently.
Yeah, beautiful birdhouses. But socially, stuck firmly in 1985.
No email, no video calls, definitely no Facebook.
His argument was always, letters worked fine for 50 years, why change now? He saw technology purely as a hassle, not as a potential bridge.
And the result?
While his main social group, his poker buddies, they gradually disappeared, moved away, passed on. And because he hadn't adapted to find new ways to connect,
His evenings became lonely.
very lonely, just him and the TV, mostly.
Yeah.
But the real kicker, the moment it really hit him, was missing his own son's wedding toast.
Oh, wow. How did that happen?
His son lived far away, couldn't travel easily, so they decided to share the toast via Zoom for all the relatives who couldn't be there in person.
A modern solution.
Right. But Harold, he just wouldn't learn that darn video thing, as he called it, refused.
So he just missed it. His own son's toast.
Completely missed it. He described feeling the emptiness of that evening like a winter gale. Just him, the quiet workshop, realizing his stubbornness wasn't protecting him.
He was actively isolating him.
Exactly. Sabotaging his most important relationships. The distance wasn't just miles, it was his refusal to bridge the gap technologically.
That's a tough realization. Did he manage to turn it around?
Thankfully, yes. And it wasn't some huge dramatic event. A friend just gently nudged him toward a free tech class at the library. Basic stuff.
Sometimes that gentle nudge is all it takes.
It was. His first FaceTime call with his daughter-in-law was apparently a comedy of errors, shaky hands, upside-down views.
I can picture it.
But it broke the ice. That barrier came down.
And then
The floodgates opened. Now he has regular video story times with his grandkids. That tablet he used to eye with suspicion, it's become a portal for connection.
And the birdhouses?
Oh, the irony. He now sells them online. Uses the very tech he resisted for so long. Adapting didn't just reconnect him with family, it opened up a whole new avenue for his passion.
That's fantastic. So how can we encourage ourselves, or maybe loved ones, to break out of that time capsule gently?
Start incredibly small, that's key. Just dip a single toe into modern tech.
Like what?
Download just one app, maybe a simple video chat tool. And then ask for help. Ask a neighbor, a grandkid. Offer to trade them something cookies for 15 minutes of tech support. Make it reciprocal, low pressure.
Takes the scariness out of it.
Absolutely. And maybe try making the past and present coexist. Host a then and now gathering.
Oh, I like that idea.
Pull out the old photo albums, tell those great stories, but also make space to talk about what's happening now. Celebrate today's successes alongside the memories. Remix it.
Honor the history. Embrace the present.
Precisely. And just try one tiny new thing. A different coffee shop. Walk down a street you never usually walk down. Then maybe jot down what you notice, gives you something fresh to talk about.
Breaks the routine rut.
Exactly. And importantly, if adapting feels really hard or brings up difficult emotions, find a support group. Talk it out. Harold's story shows it clearly. The past is a great place to visit, but you don't want to live there permanently.
It shouldn't be a prison.
No, definitely not.
Okay, moving into the next section. We're looking at traps related to actively neglecting our social world. Trap number 3, ditching your hobbies.
Ah, yes. This one's subtle but powerful.
We convince ourselves that those things we love doing, maybe knitting, gardening, painting, model trains, whatever it is, that they're just fluff.
Frivolous, don't have time.
Right. Life gets busy, maybe retirement changes things, and we let them slide.
And that's a huge mistake, because those hobbies, they're often the glue connecting you to people who share your passions.
It's a glue.
Yeah, dropping them is... the sources use the analogy of unplugging your social battery.
Okay, social battery. Explain that.
Well, without those shared interests, those activities you genuinely enjoy doing with others, what do conversations default to?
Weather, aches and pains, doctor visits.
Exactly. It becomes very functional, maybe even negative. The playfulness drains out of interactions. And if you're not engaging in those shared activities, the invitations related to them naturally dry up. There's no shared play, only work or obligation.
You lose that reason to get together just for fun.
Precisely. Sarah's story illustrated this really well. She was a 65-year-old former nurse, loved watercolor painting. But after her husband passed away, she felt she had to be constantly busy, productive. So she swapped her easel for endless errands, told her friends, oh, art was just a phase.
Justified it away.
Right. But the result, her art studio collected dust, her calendar felt empty, and her friends, the ones she used to paint with or go to galleries with, they kind of drifted.
Like she wasn't playing anymore.
Yeah, she seemed all work, no play. Why invite someone to a fun painting workshop if they always say they're too busy running errands? The real turning point for her was during a particularly bleak winter. Lots of time alone, just doing puzzles, feeling utterly gray. She ended up in an art therapy session almost by accident, and the moment she started mixing colors again, put that brush to paper.
Something clicked.
Big time. She realized how much she'd missed that feeling of being truly alive, that creative spark. The release was so intense, apparently, she started crying right there, tears mixing with the paint.
Wow. A physical reaction to that rediscovered joy.
It was her body telling her what her mind had been denying, and that was the start of the social turnaround.
She picked up the brush again.
And how? She now hosts weekly paint and sip nights, brings together old friends, new people she met at the senior center. Her art's even hanging in the local community gallery now.
That's amazing.
Her laugh is back, apparently. That hobby didn't just fill time, it reinflated her whole social existence. Her canvas and her contact list are full again.
So how do we avoid falling into Sarah's trap? especially when life does feel busy or overwhelming.
Again, start incredibly small, no pressure. Dust off one old passion, just one. Set a timer for 20 minutes. If you used to play guitar, just strum 3 chords. Badly is fine. If you gardened, plant one single herb seed in a pot on the windowsill. Just break the pattern of inaction.
Get that tiny momentum going.
Yes. And crucially, try to shift from doing it alone to doing it with others. Join, don't just solo.
Find a group.
Look for local clubs, book clubs, walking groups, volunteer teams, even online groups dedicated to your interest. That shared effort, that shared enthusiasm, that's where the deeper connections happen. Shared stories come out of shared activity.
The sources also mentioned evolving the hobby, giving it a modern twist.
Right, maybe connected to community service. Knit scarves for a homeless shelter. Use your baking skills for a local fundraiser. That blend of passion and purpose is incredibly attractive. It draws people in.
Turns the solo craft into a community contribution.
Exactly. And celebrate the small wins. Finished a sketch. Share a photo with a friend. Baked a good loaf. Offer a slice to a neighbor. That positive feedback loop keeps you going.
Okay, good advice. Now, trap number 4. This one feels uncomfortable because I think we're all guilty of it sometimes. Ghosting your friends.
Ah, yes. The atrophy trap.
It's usually not intentional malice, is it? It's just inertia. We mean to call back, we see the text, but we get distracted.
I'll catch up next week.
Yeah, or we skip the regular lunch date because we're tired, or it's raining, or the sofa just feels too comfortable.
And the devastating consequence is that friendships, they need tending. Like houseplants. They atrophy without effort.
They wither from neglect.
Precisely. And the sneaky thing is how quickly it happens. You miss one call, then maybe another lunch. Pretty soon people might start thinking, oh, they're always busy, or it's too hard to get hold of them.
You get labeled unreliable.
Unreliable, maybe difficult. And once that perception sets in, people naturally stop trying as hard. Why chase someone down if it always feels like effort? The result is that social freeze out, and you're left wondering why your phone isn't ringing.
Tom's story really hit this home. The 70-year-old ex-trucker.
Right. His retirement mantra became that classic procrastination. I'll catch up with them next week.
But next week never came.
Or rarely came. And eventually, his longtime buddies, the guys he used to fish with, play cards with, silence. Radio silence.
Ouch. How did he realize what had happened?
It was stark. At a family gathering, looking at photos later, he noticed he was physically alone in the corner in almost every group shot.
Wow, a visual representation of his isolation.
It hit him hard. He openly admitted, I ghosted them, and eventually they ghosted me back. He saw the direct link between his inaction and the resulting silence. Friendship, he realized, needs fuel. It needs scheduled maintenance, like his old truck route.
So how did he fix it? Did he have to make some grand apology tour?
No, nothing huge. It was much simpler and maybe braver. He sent a group text, something like, beers on me Saturday. Who's in to talk some nonsense?
Just put it out there. Vulnerable.
Totally. 5 guys showed up. Apparently, there were a few awkward laughs at first because it had been a while. But that melted away pretty quickly. They started talking about the lost time, the anxieties of retirement they were all probably feeling. Now, Tom's known as the king of check-in Sundays. He makes a point of regular, brief contact to keep the connection alive.
Consistency over intensity.
That's the key takeaway. Put reminders in your calendar if you need to, a recurring monthly lunch date. And rotate who organizes it so the burden doesn't always fall on one person, keeps it fresh.
And if you have been the ghost, how do you reinitiate?
Apologize with action, not just words. Something simple like, hey, sorry I vanished for a bit, things got hectic, coffee's on me this week. That honesty, that vulnerability, it actually strengthens the bond because you're being real.
Shows accountability.
Yes. And focus on quality interactions. Deep one-on-one conversations often mean more than being in a big, noisy group where you barely connect. Ask real questions. What's exciting you lately? What project are you working on?
Go beyond the surface chat.
Absolutely. That's the lifeblood. And maybe try to diversify a bit. Keep your cherished old friends, but be open to making new connections too. Maybe through those hobbies we talked about, or community events.
Makes sense. Okay, trap number 5. This one feels very 21st century. Scrolling instead of talking.
The digital loneliness loop, it's incredibly insidious.
Using screens, Facebook, YouTube, news feeds as a replacement for actual human contact.
It's a poor substitute because you get that little dopamine hit, right?
Yeah.
Like a comment, a funny video, It feels like engagement. It masquerades as company.
What is not real warmth?
Zero real warmth. You can lose hours scrolling through other people's curated lives or getting lost down a rabbit hole of cat videos or political arguments.
Well, your real relationships gather dust.
Exactly. And this trap becomes particularly tight if mobility starts to decline. The screen becomes the easiest window to the world, but it's a distorted one. Those virtual likes, they just don't provide the fuel that genuine human connection does.
But hold on, technology can be a lifeline too, right? Especially for connecting with family far away. How do we square that? Leela's story, the next example, she used her iPad to connect.
That's a really important clarification. The key difference is intent and outcome. Is it passive consumption or active connection?
Okay, explain that.
The toxic loop is when you're just endlessly scrolling, passively consuming content, maybe liking things without real interaction. It's one way. Constructive use is active and specific. Using FaceTime to talk to your grandkids, joining an online discussion group where you're actually sharing ideas, not just lurking.
Got it. So Leela, she fell into the passive trap initially.
Yes, she was 74, a widow, loved books, became housebound after hip surgery. Her iPad became her constant companion, her main friend. She told herself that seeing updates and sending quick DMs was enough social interaction.
But it felt hollow.
Deeply hollow. The connection stayed shallow, logistics, surface comments, and depression started to creep in because that virtual noise couldn't replace the energy, the give and take, the shared laughter of real presence.
What broke the cycle for her?
Something very simple and tangible. A neighbor knocked on her door. Invited her to a small book club they held on their porch.
Face to face. Old school.
Exactly. And the experience was described as electric. Real debates about books, sharing different perspectives, that intellectual spark and genuine back and forth she'd been missing online.
She felt the difference.
Palpably. She realized the huge gap between a digital like and a real dynamic conversation. Now she consciously limits her aimless scrolling, sets a timer.
How long?
Maybe 30 minutes at a time. She saves her energy, both physical and mental, for the book club, for balcony chats with neighbors. The screen is back to being a tool, not her whole world.
So fighting the digital loop. Step 1 is time limits.
Absolutely. Be deliberate. Use timers on your phone, a kitchen timer, whatever works. Maybe 45 minutes max for that passive scrolling. Then consciously use the time you've saved for an actual phone call or arrange a visit. Make an active choice for real connection.
What about using tech for connection, like with faraway family?
Embrace hybrid hangs. Use video calls, definitely. They're great tools, but see them as a bridge. The goal should always be, if possible, to upgrade that to an in-person meeting eventually. Use the screen to facilitate real connection, not replace it.
Don't let it become the final destination.
Right. And try a full digital detox day now and then, maybe one Sunday a month or even weekly. Put the devices away completely, go for a walk, wave at neighbors, chat over the fence. Purposefully choose the analog world.
Scroll less, soul more. I like that.
That sums it up perfectly.
All right, we're on the home stretch now. The last 3 traps dive into our emotional landscape and sense of purpose. Trap number 6, saying no to new experiences.
The comfort zone cul-de-sac.
Yeah, that default, using excuses like, oh, I've been there, done that, or the classic, I'm too old for that, too tired, it's too late to start.
We frame them as rational, but really they're often fear-based. And novelty, trying new things, it's not just for young people. It's described as the ultimate anti-loneliness elixir later in life.
Anti-loneliness elixir. How so?
Because every time you say yes to something new, a class, a trip, even trying a different route home, you open a door to potentially fresh air, new perspectives, and crucially, new faces, new potential friends, new communities.
And the opposite is true too.
Exactly. A consistent pattern of saying no just builds walls. It breeds isolation by shutting down all those potential avenues for unexpected connection and growth.
Evelyn's story fits here, doesn't it? The retired librarian, 69. Loved order, routine.
Oh, absolutely. Her life post-retirement became incredibly predictable. Groceries, laundry, TV, same schedule, week in, week out. She turned down every single invitation to try something, new classes, clubs, trips, only stuck to the familiar.
It felt safe.
It felt safe, yes. But that safety also made her kind of invisible. The sources say the loneliness really hit her hard during a quiet birthday she spent alone. That silence in the perfectly ordered life she thought she controlled was jarring.
That was the wake-up call.
That was the catalyst for doing something completely out of character, almost desperate. She saw a crumpled flyer on the floor for a senior salsa dancing workshop.
Salsa. for a routine-loving librarian.
On a total whim, she signed up. Apparently, the first class was mostly awkward stumbles and blushing.
I bet.
But she stuck with it. And those stumbles turned into smoother spins. More importantly, the strangers in the class turned into friends. She met her new best friend there, Rosa. Suddenly, her predictable calendar exploded with life dancing, outings, trying other new things with Rosa.
Wow. One yes changed everything.
It highlights the core idea. The pitfall of constant no's is isolation. The promise of saying yes is finding community.
So how do we make saying yes less intimidating when that comfort zone feels so strong?
Start with micro adventures, tiny commitments, low risk, but potentially high reward.
Like, what's a micro adventure?
Maybe a 30-minute talk at the museum, a free pottery demonstration at the community center, a 15-minute trial meditation class. Something short, easy to bail on if you hate it, but that gets you out the door and into a new environment.
Low stakes, high spark potential.
Exactly. And don't feel you have to go it alone. Buddy up.
Grab a friend.
Yes! If trying something new solo feels terrifying, ask a friend to go with you. It doubles the fun, halves the anxiety, and gives you that accountability. You're less likely to back out if someone else is expecting you.
Makes it a shared experience right from the start.
Right. And actively prep your mindset. The sources suggest journaling. Before the new thing, write down your specific fears about it. Afterwards, write down any small wins or positive surprises.
Build that bravery muscle.
Precisely. It helps you recognize that the fear is often worse than the reality. The overall message, chase curiosity. Actively trade those default no's for some intentional no's.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Okay, trap number 7. This one feels heavy. Hoarding grudges.
The emotional anchor. Yeah, this is a tough one.
Holding on to those old hurts. That feud with your sibling from 20 years ago. The nasty comment from a neighbor. It feels justified, right? Like you should be angry.
It often feels justified, even righteous. But the sources argue that nursing those grudges acts like poison. It contaminates your present and blocks pathways to future connection. It turns people who could be allies or sources of comfort into permanent enemies.
And it's a social survival issue. Really?
That's how it's framed. Grudges repel people. They take up enormous emotional energy you could be using to build positive relationships. And think about it. As we get older, our social circles often naturally shrink a bit. People move, pass away.
So you can't afford to burn bridges unnecessarily.
Exactly. In this context, forgiveness isn't just some fluffy feel-good concept. It's presented as a vital strategy for social survival. Holding on to bitterness just guarantees more alone time.
Ray's story was powerful here. 76 years old, carrying this massive grudge against his brother for 2 decades.
Over an inheritance dispute, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the result was a complete breakdown of family ties, no contact. Holidays were described as echoey and deeply lonely for him.
And the breakthrough came almost accidentally at a mediation workshop for something else entirely.
Right.
And he finally admitted it out loud. Holding on hurt me most. He suspected his brother had probably moved on years ago while he was still stewing in it.
Consuming all his emotional energy.
Exactly. He realized the bitterness was draining all the joy from his present. His turnaround began with just one incredibly vulnerable email to his brother, just asking, "Can we talk?"
That took courage. Letting go of needing to be right. Immense courage. But that single act of vulnerability unlocked everything. Tears, healing, apologies, and eventually rebuilding that family connection, getting his brother, his nieces and nephews back in his life.
So how do we start letting go of these heavy anchors, especially if they feel really justified?
The sources suggest a very practical first step. Conduct a grudge audit.
A grudge audit, like for taxes. Sort of. List the major grievances you're holding on to. Then, for each one, ask yourself honestly, brutally honestly, is holding on to this really serving my happiness or my need for connection right now?
Detach and evaluate its current usefulness.
Exactly. Another powerful tool is writing it out. Compose a letter to the person you have the grudge against. Pour out all the anger, the hurt, the frustration, get it all down on paper.
And then send it.
You can, but the key is you don't have to. The therapeutic power often comes just from the act of writing it, articulating it. Afterwards, you can choose to send it, or you can burn it, shred it, delete it. It's about catharsis and clearing that emotional space for yourself.
Releasing it, whether they receive it or not.
Yes. And finally, practice forgiveness as a daily habit. Build the muscle.
How? You can't just decide to forgive a huge betrayal overnight.
No, start small. Practice on minor, daily annoyances. The slow driver in front of you, the cashier who seems grumpy, the customer service line that keeps you on hold. Consciously choose to let those small things go. Grant a little grace.
Like weight training for the forgiveness muscle.
That's a perfect analogy. Those small acts build your capacity for grace, making it easier to eventually tackle the bigger, older, heavier grudges when you're ready.
Okay. Final trap. Number 8, forgetting to give back.
The selfish solo spiral.
This is that attitude that can creep in. I've done my part. I've worked hard all my life. Now it's time for me to be served. I've given enough.
Right. And that leads to pulling back from things like volunteering, mentoring, community service, any form of contribution.
And why is that a trap for loneliness? Isn't it okay to finally relax?
Relaxing is fine, but withdrawing from contribution completely removes a vital source of purpose and connection. Generosity, giving back. It's described as social jet fuel.
Social jet fuel.
Yeah. When you give your time, your skills, your attention, it creates reciprocity, it builds bonds. Acts of kindness tend to boomerang back to you, often in unexpected ways, like new friendships or support when you need it.
And if you stop giving,
you deny yourself that giver's high, that sense of satisfaction and purpose. You risk ending up isolated, feeling a bit useless perhaps, maybe even envious, watching others who are involved and seem energized by it.
like B's story. The ex-social worker, 71.
Exactly. She retired specifically to relax, consciously dropping all her previous volunteer commitments. Wanted a break.
But the relaxation felt empty.
Her days started to drag, felt aimless, and she found herself feeling resentful, watching volunteer groups working together, laughing, looking purposeful. She realized she deeply missed that sense of contributing, that connection that came with her old work.
She missed the purpose more than the work itself, maybe.
Very likely. It took a gentle nudge from a neighbor to get her involved again, but she started small. Agreed to read to kids at the library just 1 hour a week.
Manageable.
Very manageable, but the effect was immediate. The kids' smiles, the quick chats with parents, librarians. It snowballed. That 1 hour led to more involvement, and eventually she was coordinating the whole story hour program.
Found her purpose again through giving back.
And found connection along with it. Her life had meaning and buzz again, not just quiet downtime.
So if someone feels they have given a lot, how do they re-engage without feeling overwhelmed?
Start with micro gifts. Tiny acts of generosity.
What?
Give a genuine compliment to a stranger. Share a favorite simple recipe with a new neighbor. Hold the door open with a smile. Small ripples of kindness that strengthen your immediate environment.
Doesn't have to be organizing a massive charity drive.
Not at all. And use your skills. Skillshare what you know. Your lifetime of experience is valuable currency. Offer gardening tips at the community garden. Mentor someone starting out in your old profession, maybe online.
Turn your wisdom into a connection tool.
Absolutely. It bridges generations and sparks new conversations and friendships.
Yeah.
And finally, consciously track the positive effects. Notice how helping someone else makes you feel. Jot it down in a journal.
Track the glow.
Yes. Recognizing that positive feedback loop, giving feels good, leads to connection, makes you feel valued, helps sustain the habit. It keeps you from spiraling into that isolated, self-focused state.
Wow, okay. 8 traps, thoroughly unpacked. From the physical neglecting health, to the mental clinging to the past, the social ghosting friends, scrolling, and the emotional hoarding grudges, forgetting to give back.
It covers a lot of ground.
It really does. But the core message weaving through all of this seems clear. Loneliness, especially later in life, isn't necessarily inevitable. It's often the outcome of choices we make or habits we fall into.
Choices we can undo.
Exactly. We can make different choices, shift those habits, one small step at a time. It's never too late. You're not too old or too set in your ways. You've got this wealth of experience, stories, wisdom.
Things no screen can ever replicate. You're primed for connection.
You really are.
And if you think about the bigger picture, maybe the real measure of these golden years isn't just counting the days we have left.
What is it then?
It's about the quality of connection, the amount of vibrant life and purpose we consciously decide to pack into those days. So, listening to all this, thinking about those 8 traps, which one maybe resonated most strongly with you? Which one feels like the first one you might choose to tackle?
That's a powerful question to leave people with. If this deep dive today gave you some food for thought, maybe sparked an idea for strengthening your own connections or understanding someone else's, please consider sharing it.
Yeah, pass it along.
Like this video, share it with friends or family you think might benefit, and subscribe to the Good Morning Seniors YouTube channel. That way, we can keep bringing you these kinds of insights to help you stay motivated, informed, and deeply connected.
Until next time.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.